We're talking World War II. We're talking Saoirse Ronan, one of my favorite actresses, and we're talking Steve McQueen, the director of 12 Years a Slave. So why is this so middling? Let's talk about Blitz. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new movie Blitz. This is available to stream on Apple TV Plus. It had a very limited theatrical run, I think probably for awards contention, but you can check it out now on Apple Plus. Before we launch into the specifics of this movie and my thoughts on it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are one of my subscribers already, I love that. Thank you so much. Great to have you back on the channel. But if you're not, please consider subscribing, click that notification bell, or you could just like this video, comment below. All that stuff helps the channel out as well. All right, so Blitz is about London in World War II, and we have a young boy sent away to evacuate the city amidst the Blitz. And instead, he decides to be defiant and goes on an adventure to try and return to his mother, only to find himself in a lot of perilous situations. And we have, as the young kid, Elliot Heffernan, who is new. I've not seen him before, but he does actually a really good job. A little shaky, like in the first scene. And I don't know if they shot that first and then the rest of the movie, but he's a little shaky there, and I was like, oh man, how's this child actor going to go? But actually, by a couple scenes in, and certainly by the end of the movie, he's definitely proven himself to me, so he could be one to watch. And then Saoirse Ronan plays the mother. You have Harris Dickinson as Jack, who is essentially an unnecessary character. I mean, you could lift the guy completely out of the movie and it wouldn't make one whiff of difference. But you might know him from Triangle of Sadness. He was in the second Maleficent movie. He's done, a few things over the years. Good-looking dude. So, he's just one of those, maybe a little eye-catching, but you're not quite sure where you know him from because he does usually just sort of side parts. But this was not only directed by Steve McQueen from 12 Years a Slave, but directed by, written by, produced. And he's been getting into that space lately. He did the writing and directing and producing for a movie called Widows in, I think, 2018. That was pretty good. And then he had a film in the Small Axe collection. It was like 5 feature-length movies, but as like a TV show kind of thing on Amazon Prime. And his was, I thought, one of the better ones. But boy, this one is a miss. So let's talk about why. I think the main reason is that it's incredibly slow. It's about 2 hours, and I would say it feels a lot longer than that. There's just a lot of sort of empty space that doesn't get filled up with interesting dialogue, interesting characters. It's just kind of, moving along to move the plot along, or in sometimes is the case, not even that. Some scenes I'm just like, okay, don't know what happened there or why. And so it's incredibly tough to attach to these characters, which sort of leans into the other really big negative, along with the pacing, is that this is just all mostly stuff that we have seen before in countless World War II pictures. I feel like this year there's been a glut of them. I mean, just in recent months, we had Whitebird, we had Lee, which was about the photographer played by Kate Winslet. And look, every year, well, I don't know. I feel like we've taken a few years off of World War II because we've focused a little more on present day strife, after, the pandemic and George Floyd and all of that stuff. It seemed like we were doing a lot more movies sort of based in the present day and whatever. But for years and years, we had all of these World War II movies. And so, okay, maybe returning to that a little bit. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But you have to tell a story that we haven't seen before. And while the Blitz itself is maybe a bit of a new twist on the material and a new sort of angle to look at, there's still nothing new here. I mean, look, the people in London, struggled the same as many other places. So just because we didn't specifically, at least to my knowledge, I have not seen a movie about the Blitz, as far as I know. But that doesn't mean that you could just take all of the stock sort of characters that we've seen in these other movies and just, write them on the page. And it's baffling to me because 12 Years, now he didn't write 12 Years a Slave, but 12 Years a Slave was an excellent film. It won the Best Picture. I don't think it necessarily deserved that for the year, but I gave it an A. I mean, it's a very, very, very good movie. And I thought his eye for directing was great. He also worked on a movie even before that called Shame, with Michael Fassbender, that was really great. I don't know if he wrote that one, but he definitely directed it. And then Widows that I mentioned, that was great. This is such a step down from what I have come to expect from Steve McQueen. But look, let's get to some of the positives. I will say that the cinematography is good, and there's no doubt about it. The acting is great. I mentioned the kid already. I'm going to say his name again because he may be one to watch. Elliot Heffernan. But Saoirse Ronan, look, she is one of my favorite actresses. One of my friends recently said, who are your top 5 actresses? She didn't make the cut, but she's damn close. I mean, she's in one of my favorite movies, Brooklyn. Even in a bad movie, I think she typically gives a terrific performance. And here's another example of that. I think she's great here. But I just don't think she has a lot of work to work with. And I think in a lot of cases, she doesn't quite even know what to do with the character. And, not that results in a bad watch in her, on her part, but I think you could tell that a little bit she's sort of struggling because she's used to having more elevated material, Little Women and Brooklyn and all of that. And I feel like here, McQueen kind of left her out in The Breeze. But it's still a good performance. But when the movie is so middling, it's hard to really say. But she is actually on a couple of short lists for the Oscars for this movie as, I think, a supporting actress, even though she's, the main female, but sometimes they do that. Sure, I mean, look, she's great in the role, but there's just not much to chew on here. Overall, this is very, very middling. I will give it a more average grade than a negative grade because of some really solid performances here, but that's about the only reason to recommend this movie, which I don't think you should spend 2 hours on. I leave Blitz with a C. But if you are curious, you can check it out now on Apple TV Plus if you subscribe to that. All right, thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It, and I'll see you next time. Bye.